pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Minutes of the last meeting.
I was gonna ask to change that deadline for the RFP on the trees, but it said the current RFP. So I guess at that time, that was accurate.
And then the second paragraph on the bottom, Ralph Fogg, should be made. the motion.
Yeah, I madly made the motion.
Yeah. Last paragraph, at the end of the document, just above public minutes. So the three companies that are low certified, it should be capital LORR, so that's LOR system. You'll find that at the bottom of the second page. It says three companies that are, low is there, it should be LORR, all capitals.
Where are you, Bill?
I know, I can't see it either.
Just above public minutes, sorry. Yep.
Not that one, sorry, this one. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, get it.
And you,
Pal, I guess.
Oh,
Anybody else? If not, can I have a motion to approve the Facilities Committee minutes from May 7th, 2014, as amended.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion second, all in favor? All right. Public comment? Tree removal bids.
I have a bid invitation list that Joe had put together for you. It looks like this. Those are all the companies that were bid walk notices. Those were all phone calls. So either directly, somebody answered or a message was given. We had only one company show up for the second bid walk, Royal Tree Service, and they did not bid. The only bid that we did get was a rebid from Crawford Logging.
I have to cite that same policy. Is the policy anywhere near us? That thing? Does it say, if I'm reading it correctly, and I can't read it right now because it's not in front of me, but
On three bids.
doesn't it say that it's necessary to have three competitive bids? I mean,
I believe it states that you have to attempt to get three bids. I don't know if the wording is attempt, however, we're not getting three bids, so we have to move on what we have.
Well, the whole idea of the policy is to protect public interest, right? The taxpayers'
Right.
money.
That's true, but if we're not getting three bids, we have to work on what we are getting for a bid, even if it's not three. And we rejected the original bid and put a lot of legwork into making phone calls and reposting in 2 newspapers, and this is what we're getting. So this is all we have to work off of at this point after quite an effort from the first time around.
You're looking for the specific policy?
Yeah, I thought it might still be in there, but it does
I
say
can pull it up
three.
online.
It does say three bids, but
I just,
I don't know.
all I know is if I was a property owner, and I had a lot to cut, and I called a logger or a forester or anybody, I wouldn't expect a logger or a forester to come in and say, you own the land, you own the timber, but you're gonna pay me and you'll get nothing. And I'm not saying this job should be done for free, I'm not saying that. I sure would like to see, well, I guess I would really like to see the policy so I know for sure that it requires 3 competitive bids, because I don't know that for sure.
I don't know if the word require,
I'm pulling it up right now.
but I know it is
I think the
based
policy
on
was,
3 bids or,
boy, it's hot in here. And I do understand that the money that's being asked is more for the stumping than it is for the timber. Most loggers and foresters wouldn't say, I'll take your trees, pay you money, and stump it, you know, so I do see the difference there.
I was shocked that some of them didn't show up because, like with Garland, she said, yep. And I'm like, okay, don't forget, write it down. And poof, nothing. I was like, oh. You know. Sammy told me the same thing, Sam Brother. You know, he's, yep, he's yep. And so, I was like, okay.
I mean, it certainly looks like you did a outreach.
It's right in here. It says, all contracts for and purchases of supplies, materials, equipment, and contractual services in the amount of $5,000 or more shall be based, when feasible, on at least 3 competitive bids. So the wording in there, when feasible, gives us the opportunity to accept a bid if we've only received 1. And I would say that we've done our due diligence on trying to get more than 1 bid from the first time around.
And time is the real issue now, as far as feasibility. Is that what, I mean, at the end of the school year, the trees come down, but the work has to get done.
oh, really? Yeah, it'd be nice to do it, but, I mean, we got what, 3,000 left from that warrant, the original warrant
I
article?
thought it was 8.
For the land,
Yeah.
I thought it was 8, wasn't it?
Well, whatever, I
it's around
mean,
$8,600, $8,860, I think.
I mean, we got, we put, what, 75 in the warrant article,
We're talking about
but,
it's a separate trust fund.
That's for the next phase of the parking lot.
isn't it the same?
No, the parking lot is separate from the land.
Yeah, this is left over from the,
The original warrant was to purchase the property.
Right, but it was also the, it was also, we could, what, remove it, it was for, there was other, what was the word, you'd have to look at the actual wording in it, but it was actually to do some other things in it besides, legal fees, to move the trailer. So it is separate, but, I mean,
this is the second time it's been out for proposals? Second?
I just think it's so much money, but, I don't know, it seems high to me. But, I mean, even with, but to get back to my, we got 75,000, I don't think we're gonna be able to complete the whole thing with 75,000, so.
We're supposed to take it down and subgrade and prep it for paving and stuff like that, isn't it? that we're going to try to get as much done with that money.
Right, but I don't think, we're not gonna be able to pave it. I mean, so, it's probably not gonna be complete. I don't know, I just, it seems, I don't know, it seems high to me, Mr. Turner.
What we're seeing right now is as we try to piecemeal this project, we're extending our timeline out into the future. We're not receiving several bids that we're hoping we would receive. Even if we were to accept this bid around just the tree removal and the stump removal, we still haven't confirmed removal of the trailer, and we still haven't confirmed demolition or what are we going to do with the other existing buildings, and we haven't taken into consideration cleanup of the property. My overall concern, and I'll express this, is that we have a tree removal, stump removal process that happens, and we have the trailer removed and whatever we decide to do with the other buildings, and then we're left with what? I'm just visualizing this eyesore in front of the school because we haven't planned the prep work for the paving, whether we pave it or not, because we haven't even discussed what's the drainage look like. So I'm raising my concern that we're piecemealing this. It might eventually end up costing us the same amount as going to a company that is giving us a package in phases, and we're not going to end up getting the job done in a timely manner. So I just want to throw that out there to the committee.
And do you think the loggers have a problem with the stumping part of it? Do you think that that's a prohibitive factor in their responding or lack of response?
It
Can't
was
get them to
for,
show up.
I mean, it was for Royal, because he said he'd have to subcontract that part. He didn't have an excavator to do the stumping.
What about adding the stumping with the excavating?
Well, you can't excavate without taking the stumps out. So you can't cut the grade down, remove all the fill
Well,
without.
right, but make that a part of, if you got an excavator here, they can just pull the stumps out of the ground.
And that's kind of where I'm going with my thought, is there, go ahead, Joe.
But if we went with Mr. Tercey's idea and brought a couple of companies in to say, hey, from start to finish.
We got one for what, over 500,000?
But that was
No.
a lot more than just that.
Yeah.
We don't even have
That
that.
was the paving and everything, right?
We had a couple pre-quotes, if you will, they were in phases, and one of the phases was, I believe from one of the companies, was the full tree removal, stump removal of all of the existing facilities over there, and prep for paving, and then paving was another phase. So I think we should start looking at this as more of a package than piecemealing it, knowing that we have, that warrant was approved, and we have a larger amount of money to work with right now to see if we can package the deal compared to trying to piecemeal it.
What was that number, do you remember for that?
I don't know if I have it in my other.
One of the lower numbers was 290, I thought.
Yeah, of that.
That included
package.
paving though for that lot, I believe. Not just the prep.
But the problem is, we don't have the money to do a package deal now.
And also, I think if I remember right, they wanted the whole thing, it was, if they didn't get the whole thing, they didn't want to just bid on a part of it, so. Trees can't come down till the modular's out of there, is that correct?
And you heard anything about that, Andrew? From those people?
Oh, Joe told me today she's coming on the 19th or 20th to look at it.
She's coming tomorrow to look at it, and the 19th and 20th, she's hoping to pull it out of there. Her two big issues are right now, there's no tongue on it, and there's no tires.
you have access to tires?
$850 she has to come up with for that. So, I don't know if I'm gonna find that all out tomorrow.
So I have those here if you want me to bring,
Those are
reinform the board. So Harriman originally sent us something that was just the earthwork and gravel was approximately $90,000. It's GMI, correct?
Yes.
GMI. GMI's first phase, what they called Area 1, the new proposed parking lot, which included paving, was $210,000. And then the next phase, Area 2, was the existing parking lot. So they broke it out into sections.
But we don't have 290,000.
But what was the second
Right.
part of that, second phase for GMI? Was another,
Was the existing parking lot, really sort of paving the existing parking lot, tying it in.
but their money that they were requesting for that.
$91,000. So when we totaled up GMI, that's where, you know, as in phases, 291, close to $500,000. But that also included the roadway and the sidewalk here. It wasn't just the existing parking lot.
Retention ponds and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I believe it also included the back.
The back, it was the whole school. So if you think about a rough estimate to do the earthwork and the gravel to prep it for paving, Harriman's quote came in at, or estimate came in at $90,000.
That was with the trees already gone. They're,
No,
before they come in and.
that's the earthwork, so taking the existing and prepping it to be able to pave. That's the package deal I'm referring to, compared to trying to piecemeal companies to do the work. Because my understanding is they'd also have to communicate, those companies would have to communicate as to, here's what we're gonna leave, and how will you come in and clean that up, and grade it, and gravel it. So I think we should look at it as a package in phases, based on the monies that we have.
But we don't have 90,000 either.
However, we haven't put out a bid that includes the whole package. We started bidding based on piecemeal. We had a demolition RFP, we had a tree removal, stump removal RFP, and we've had, private citizens contact us about removing the trailer. That hasn't come to fruition. So, getting concerned that we're not moving forward on the project in the way that it's efficient for time as well as the final product. I don't know if others share that same concern, but I'm expressing my own.
I share your concern.
Between the 75 that we're putting into the land in July and what's in the, the parking lot, what's in the land is $83,600 you would have to use, available to use for upgrading the parking lot.
Once the 75 is added to the 86,
Yeah. So it's 83.6, which is not too far off from the $90,000 estimate.
So,
Well,
so, Mike, are you suggesting we do that though, put out for a package if we could? See what comes back with that?
That is what I'm recommending, because I'd like to be able to work with one company that's gonna come in and prep that lot, and then we talk about an additional warrant to pave it, and do it in 2 phases, if you will, compared to chopping it into, different aspects of
Prepping
putting.
it would be preparing for the lights and everything too, so wiring and everything?
No, it would just be just the groundwork.
But it's, right, I get that, but if it's to the point where it's ready to pave, it wouldn't be unless all the wiring's in.
conduit,
You have to dig it all up again.
at least the conduit.
Right. So that has to be part of that too.
And I don't know enough about it, Bob, as to what the phase would look like. I would leave that up to the people that have
Usually you
more
culverts, your
expertise in putting
swales,
parking lots
Right,
in.
that's
your
what I mean, all
conduits,
that.
and
Yeah.
your catch basins.
Oh, yeah, right, that's detailed to that, yep.
Um, I'd like to make a motion to change the RFP. I think more loggers would come in if they didn't have to stump it. Leave that stumping for the guys that are actually doing the groundwork. I don't know if that would be, I mean, I look at the list and I can only imagine that that's part of the problem, is the idea that it's getting stumped as well.
No, Campion could stop that.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. But time-wise, I mean, I'm sure you'd rather come and just chop it.
Then we're left with a lot with tree stumps and a trailer that needs to be removed and
I think
facilities that are,
Wouldn't the trailer want to be gone first before we log it? That was.
That would be the
It
most
needs to
feasible.
be.
Feasible.
right.
The trailer needs to be gone, the sheds need to be moved, the other back shed, the chicken coop that's called, that big pile of mess that's out there, the big pile of stuff that's underneath. Who's gonna take care of all of that unless you package it up? I don't mind using my truck, but.
Get the dumpster bags.
It's time though, too, Joe.
Time,
you
oh,
know,
I hear you, I understand.
So-
We don't have any time.
Just don't want an eyesore out front because we're piecemealing it. I don't think the community wants to see that coming into the building. The kids don't want to see it. The staff don't want to see it. They'd like to see a phased in, in my opinion, they would like to see us phased in, professional looking.
Want to donate 500,000, we'll do it all in one whack.
I'd like to have that kind of money on hand to donate, Mr. Brown. I'm talking about phasing it in based on what we have for money. If we can.
I don't see how, with 75,000, how much are you gonna get out of phasing? So now you're probably talking about nothing being done, not for 14, you're talking probably like 15, 16, and that's only if the taxpayers would approve more money, and would they approve more money if we're still sitting on the 75,000 that we have now? I don't know.
I think it'd be good to go to the community when we're putting together the budget with a specific plan as the phases and the costs, so we can drive a warrant article based on a specific cost and a phased-in approach. So we could ask for enough money to at least do the first phase, and that would give a timeline so that the community knows this is the plan. This is what we're looking to do. This will be the outcome at the end of this year. This will be the outcome of next year. This is what it'll cost us.
Yeah, because that would, Joe,
The $75,000, where did that number happen to originate from by?
It was a warrant article.
I realize that, but where did that original 75 come from? Who came up with that 75,000?
I think it was the board's decision to try to ask for some monies to continue the project, but not so much that the voters rejected it.
Okay. Yep. That's right.
well,
Maybe another way of approaching it too would be making the first phase cleaning the lot up, which is moving the trailers, getting all the trash out of there, getting that modular home out of there. So at least it looks presentable. Then we at least have not disturbed any land. We don't have to worry about dust storms blowing across the parking lot with just gravel sitting out there. And then look at how, like Michael said, put the plan together again about how we convert then that treed lot, because that's what we have at that point, into the parking lot.
I think I keep hoping that the person interested in the trail is going to show up and haul that trail out of there. I also keep thinking about how some taxpayers would look at this as an effort to due diligence, adhere to policy, what's feasible. I mean, feasible is moving when the money's there.
Did you make a motion?
Well, I did, but my motion was only to omit from the RFP the stumping and ask for bids on the tree removal, tree and brush removal. That was my motion. That would-
I'll second that.
That's just to go to the,
For discussion?
for the, yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
I'm concerned that we get the trees down, because that will happen, and we sit on the stumps. Then we have to get somebody in to take care of that.
But again, the groundwork, as soon as you start cutting the grade, as soon as you start peeling loam, bank run gravel, whatever big rocks are out of there, those stumps are going with it. I mean, there's,
And I couldn't answer my own question here, but, you know, if we have a bid right now to do both, and we only put one out for just a tree, and they come up with, just throw in them $8,000 to take the trees down. And then we put the other side of this, which is the stumping of the property, and then other stuff. Is it gonna work out that we're gonna save money, or is it gonna be on the other side that we should have had it all done at one time?
well, stumping, it's not gonna cut it down a subgrade or, parking lot level. So there's still gonna be, somebody else gonna still come in and cut it. You can have stumps pulled and create as where the stumps were.
I
because that's what we're
I
asking
honestly would love to see a bid for just taking the trees down. I'm curious, to see what that price is. Is it much more less than what we already have for both things? I don't know.
The 90,
No,
you talking?
No,
the
we're
11.
talking about how much would we save on the current bid if it was just the
Right.
trees taken down? I think it would be substantial.
I'm curious.
I mean, I can see the expense in the stumping of it.
Well,
I just wanted to bring up again the clearing out of the lot itself. I mean, we've got to really understand how we're going to proceed to that in order to get all the trees down. Otherwise, it's still not going to be practical to do.
Well, the lady with the trailer is supposed to be here tomorrow, you said?
But she has concerns.
Hoping to move on it the 18th or the 19th, something like that. So that's positive discussion, I guess you could call it.
And the 19th, the 18th, 19th, and 20th, that's gonna be during graduation here. So I don't even know, I have to bring that to everybody's attention now, with all of that going on, if that's gonna be happening at the same time, that hasn't even been discussed yet.
Yeah, but when you think about it, that trailer is close to that driveway. There's a barrier of trees here, but, which has to be, the trailer goes first. Trees are gonna remain there. People coming in and out of this parking lot, if there's activity over there, they'd have to go to the top of the knob and peek through the trees to see what's going on. I don't think that's gonna be an obstacle for graduation or anything else. I mean,
Just throwing a note there.
And there's more to it than just taking that, correct me if I'm wrong, there's more to it than just taking the trailer out, because there's additions that have been put onto that trailer.
yeah,
So we
decks
still
and
have
stuff.
demolition to do over there.
And she plans on taking care of that too?
No,
No?
Just pulling the trailer out?
pulling the trailer out,
So
and getting rid of the
so
trailer.
we have things to do before that.
Right.
she's not taking the additions?
No,
Did she already say no to that, or?
I have not had no as an answer, but I can find that out tomorrow.
Because, I mean, at the very least, if they're gonna have to be taken off to be able to take it down the road, right?
Yeah. They're attached.
Man, they're gonna have to be unattached to even pull it out on the road, because it won't fit down the road, it'll be too wide.
Right.
Those things won't go down the road anyways, because they're on sonotubes.
It's like not part of it.
They're not part of it. For the understanding that I'm getting, she's coming up here with 8 tires, she's putting it underneath, she's blowing the tires up, she's going down the road. And I don't even know if she's gonna be able to get around that one tree that's there. That, you've seen that big hemlock that's there. You're talking 70 feet, and you put a truck on it with a tongue.
We'll move the motion, I guess.
What's that? Motion,
And I guess my motion is to bring it to the full month.
Well, you have a motion in a second.
yeah, but that, it automatically, this is
Goes
just
to
the committee.
Right.
It goes back to the full board.
Yeah.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Nope, I said aye.
And then can you share the information that you get tomorrow, Joe, with us? As soon as you have something.
Yeah, as soon as I get it, I'll forward it on to Mr. Adams and Andrew and you guys, if that works for you guys. Is that how you like to handle it? Mr.
Yes,
Pearson?
please. You send it to us and
Yeah.
we'll forward it.
Okay, see what the motion was.
Motion was to rewrite the bid for tree removal only.
Omitting the stumpage.
Tree removal only, yep. So we have a current bid in front of you. What would the committee like to do with that?
I have to make a motion to.
Do we have,
Does it still
do we
go
have to
back
do
to
anything
the?
with that? For now?
No?
It doesn't go back to the full board, right? I mean, good point, Bob.
We could hold that and see what we get for the tree only.
So we're gonna wanna let Crawford Logging know that that bid is on
Well, we asked
hold.
them for tree only too.
Well, I'm sure he'd submit it with something for tree only.
Just saying, in conversations that I've had, the chances of another bid coming in from him is probably pretty slim to none.
Mhm.
He's about up to here. So
Well, you know.
we'll let it go out to where it is and that's his prerogative.
And that's a concern as well. We start losing vendors because we're going out to bid so many times and they're taking their effort to come out and walk. We're rejecting bids.
Well, I mean, they don't have to come out every time. I mean, I don't think Dale came out the second time and walked it. He's already
Says
been
it-
here. He
says it right
understands.
He did not come out, but he did have to resubmit and take time out to do all of that, which is,
And do we have a policy where we can hold bids X amount of days or?
No. Holding policy. I mean, holding bids, no. I'd like to at least let the committee know that if we do this, well, if it goes to the full board and we're sending out a bid for tree removal only, and that doesn't go anywhere, meaning it makes it through the full board, and we send it out to bid, and we get one bid,
3 strikes and we're out.
we really need to start shifting the conversation around a package. Really do,
I agree.
based on the monies that we have.
Based on money, period. I mean, you know, when it's
Correct.
when it's someone else's money, it's, you know, it's real easy. But that's part of our job, is to look out for other people's money. So I'm having a bit of a problem where, you know, it's, to me, it's sounding like money's no object, and money is most definitely an object for me, anyway. So I just, I hope I'm not gonna stop feeling that money's, it's, the message is, you know, we need to do this at whatever cost, because I totally disagree with that.
And you won't hear that from me, Mr. Brown, unless it's a safety issue. In this case, I too have money in my thoughts as to what the cost is gonna be, and I wanna make sure we do it well, and we do it efficiently, and at the least expense to the taxpayers, but it's gonna cost.
If the full board decides to put this RFP out for tree removal only, I'll donate the money to post the RFP. That's a
My
start.
neighborly of you, Mr. Fogg.
Yeah. I can see the added expense. It's probably unnecessary, but being an issue for me.
done, roofing bids?
So that was posted to the website, posted in 2 papers. 4 companies were actually called as well, and all 4 of the companies that were called did come to the bid walk, and all 4 submitted bids. And you have the results before you on the summary page. If you opt to move the full project to one company, it helps us in the long term secure pricing for materials and labor, going into the future. And it also simplifies any warranty claims that we would have on the labor side in particular, because with the LOR system you have the 10-year warranty. So you'd have one company under that, to be able to, chase after for any problems that you might have. So that was bid by section that we had talked about by year, and then you have the grand total as well too.
Has
2 of those are local companies. I'm sorry, Steve, what?
any of these companies been any of the companies that's already done work on the roof?
Mills Construction has.
Is-
And Mills is not a qualified vendor for the LOR system, though he is in process to meet that qualification. He's filed all of the paperwork to do that.
Are they the only ones, or have there been others that have previously done work on the roof?
Not on this list. Right, because the other one was Brad Jones, B.R. Jones, did the flat roof. And they typically don't bid on shingle projects.
So all the shingle work so far has been Mills?
It was the internal part. Yeah. I don't know about in the past, who
Well,
had
right,
done
but,
pieces,
I mean,
but
I'm talking
recent,
in the
right.
recent, last few
Yes.
years.
Right.
And you're, satisfied with the job they did?
Mhm.
Mills?
Yep. And the other reference for the LSG is the Branch River complex
Mm-hmm.
right outside here, which we drive by all the time. So that's another view of that work right now.
So I'll make a motion to move this forward to the full board for consideration.
You're gonna nominate someone, or?
No. I think the full board should see all of this information, and then we'll make a decision as a full
I'll
board.
second that.
Well, for discuss, why wouldn't we nominate or recommend someone? That's the whole purpose of the subcommittees, for the subcommittee to make a recommendation to the full board.
Well, I'm not ready to make a recommendation. I'm ready to forward it to the full board. But,
I agree with Mr. Brown. It should, the recommendation come through the subcommittee.
And all these come with references?
Yeah, so all of, 3 of them are certified floor system. Mills Construction is in the process of.
What is your feeling? Do you have do you know of any information out there on any of these companies, or would you have a recommendation?
Well, for 2, the LSG certainly
Yeah.
has been in the business, done local work here, which we can visit and see. And also, too, by far is the lowest price.
Right.
The advantage of that is that they actually work on getting future contract prices on materials to lock in that, so they can pass that on to us, where I believe 2 of the other vendors on the list actually built into their, quote, future cost increases. So LSG is actually passing on their, lock that they have on future purchases onto us.
Was the LSG, the folks that came in and made the presentation?
No, LSG is Mrs. Focuson. She owns that company. John Focuson is the company that came in and did all of the roof analysis for us, and actually owns the copyright for the lore system, and actually is the company that did that presentation is the company that backs the 10-year warranty on labor, which you don't get otherwise. That's why we had recommended the lore system, because usually you'd only get 2 years on labor. So any contractor on here, any one of these four, if there was a failure outside of 2 years, okay, then that goes back to the lore warranty for those additional 8 years to give us a 10-year warranty.
Can I make an amendment to my motion?
Well, you can, or I will.
What would your amendment be?
No, go right ahead. You
Um,
want to chime in?
Well, I guess I would amend my motion to ask or have the full school board consider awarding the contract to LSG LLC in the amount of $245,047.
Is it an amended motion and a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's the proper way of doing it.
Modular update.
Yeah, so there. What we have found out there is this layer of the shingles is just too thin. The last couple of, I thought I had everything all buttoned up out there, and we had Cotty Can come in to do the work. He went to pull the plastic down, about 1.5 gallons of water came down from inside of there. So what we did is we topped everything, left it alone. It needs to be re-roofed. I thought we had it, but we don't.
When that information was brought to my office, we said stop everything in there until we roof it. So we haven't moved forward on that at all.
And that's exactly what I did. As soon as I got the phone call, it was on the Sunday of Memorial Day, I immediately called Mr. Tercey, and he was like, so that's where we're at.
So as long as the plastic's in place, the water's not coming through.
Good.
Well, that's good.
And to add, once we have tarped that, there has been no penetration of water.
How are we doing on the mold situation?
That's all taken care of.
That's been remediated.
But nothing with more water coming in with
No, everything was dried out. As soon as I heard that, I came in that morning, put a fan out there, dried it out, got everything all situated. Didn't want a repeat of previous activity.
And that modular re-roofing is part of phase 1, correct? So
Yes, sir.
we move forward with LSG. So that'd be the 2014 would include that
Yes.
roofing?
but can it wait that long?
Well, when was the plan on starting?
This summer.
Right now, as soon as school's out. As soon as we get the okay.
But can it wait that long?
Yeah, I can wait that long because we have the students. So we relocated the students as soon as we found the issue, and it's working now, and we have 3 weeks of school left, so.
And I did go out this morning, like with our rain this morning, went out and checked, and there was nothing there.
But we didn't really get a lot of rain, though.
Sometimes it's weird, even if you get a
We've had
mist.
some good rain since Memorial Day weekend.
Because what's happening is the shingles are holding it for so long, and then it's seeping down through the shingles, and it's actually hitting your plywood because there's no ice and water shield there that we believe. So then it's saturating your plywood, and it's finding its way in the seams there.
Is that gonna be part of the new roof,
Yes.
snow and ice?
Yeah, they'll get stripped, and that's, right. And actually, it's not snow and ice, it's a thicker material. Remember that snow and ice is a 40 mil, and the lower system is 60 mil, but it will be totally covered then.
Well, as long as you think it'll hold out till then, that, you know, we can't really let water keep coming in on it.
Yeah, and it is just that one spot that we had found and talked it, and we did put I think it's a 40 by 60 up there, so a good portion of that roof's covered.
Well, if you think it'll last. Well, proposed parking lot, I think we're already
Yeah.
pretty much taking care of that. So, we all set?
Other business? Yeah, can we just handle something else on other business?
This was the other one from, on the gymnasium, that he had asked me that I could bring up on this
For the
meeting.
painting?
If that, for the painting,
Sure.
if that's okay.
Mhm.
We're trying to move forward in the capital plan with our gymnasium and stuff like that, and, I don't know if you guys have seen the work done over at the town hall that they did in the Opera House, but I had the, people come over, consider it done, painting, and give us a quote on what it would be to do the gymnasium, and also for new matting on the gymnasium, to actually, where we're gonna be having school sports and stuff like that in there. This front page is on the matting. The matting will show you what it looks like. The middle one will be down on the far wall. This top one will be on the stage. And if we get really fancy,
Push the rest of those up.
to get really fancy, we can take and, get a nice rug with with a school seal on it, if you would like.
Oops, there's one for each.
And
one-
this
each
would be
member of the
some,
school board? Is there one of these for each member of the school? board?
yes, there's all the way around. And then if the school board needs someone to make some up.
All the way around, I heard him say. One for Beth, I guess.
Our other mats are in dire need of repair. These new mats will have the cutouts in order for the basketball hoop to go up and down, because Jim Miller has been doing a lot of filming from upstairs in that movie theater, so to speak, type of deal, that box up there. Painting will be all of the trim, all the way from the stage out. It won't include the stage, behind the stage. All of that will be part of it going forward, because in our next phase will be curtains and painting of the stage and all of that other fun stuff that goes back there. I'd like to concentrate on the beginning part of it right now, and eventually get to where we can put a new gym floor in there also.
So when Mr. Williams brought this to my attention, the original idea was of taking the monies for the painting and the pad out of, if there is any end of the year surplus. After we take into consideration our warrants.
Is there a line item, is there a line that would come out of under, building maintenance, something like that, or
You can look at that as well.
would it, I mean, I would consider building maintenance, but
Right, the facilities line.
Could come out of a facilities line. We look at our expense report and see where that is right now. So we just wanted to get the information in front of you, that the thoughts are sort of fixing up the gymnasium, if you will, with new mats and some paint. Looks like in these quotes, you're looking at, what's the 7,000, a little over $7,000 to do that.
in a combination.
Combination of painting and matting.
Matting, yes.
I noticed it's just
Does it say how many
under,
gallons of paint?
it's just under the trigger.
no.
for
Coats.
I get the coats, I just mean gallon wise.
Whatever two coats take. Well, I take that. It takes 800 gallons, and it takes 800 gallons.
And we did ask him, you know, we did ask him to use the Sherman-Williams brand that we use in the school, just to coincide, make everything flow together.
Water base?
Zero VOCs.
Zero VOCs, it's a harmony.
It could potentially come out of operations, maintenance, care of building and maintenance line. 54,230,
Depending on what that number is at the end of the year.
correct. We should have the majority of encumbrances in the system at this point.
If the board decides to take out the surplus, will come out of that line, if it goes over budget, we'd be okay. Because we still have the surplus to go back to the tax rate.
Showing on that line right now, we're at $10,386.
So it's been raised and appropriated for that, well, somewhat specific purpose.
What line is that, Mr. Good?
2610, 54,230, operation, maintenance, care of building.
5240?
I'm sorry, 54,230.
Our ADS is 9,586 right now. ADS is 9,586 right now.
So if we keep that line at that number, we would have enough to do this work. So I'm just curious, is the subcommittee interested in,
Forwarding it to the school board?
or thinking about moving it forward?
I'd make a motion to move this topic to the full school board for discussion.
A second.
Got it on the second.
Motion second, all in favor?
That was, thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the facilities subcommittee.
I asked the question.
I know. That's the only thing else.
I'll second it.
Anything else? Bob,
I'm good.
Michael,
All set. Mr. Brown, thanks.
motion second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.